My goal is to make the Sicilian defense be your favorite opening to face with the white pieces. So that is the point of this video. I'm going to be showing you guys a systematic approach. Right, the main move is knight to f3 playing the open Sicilian, which takes 40 years to master. The alternative, the systems-based approach, is knight to c3, which is what I like to pitch. Rather than play for d4, you're playing for f4. This favors a person with an attacking playstyle that is trying to checkmate their opponent's king, like Judith Polgar. It was very famous in the 80s. You get an equal position. If you have a good understanding of the pawn structure, good things will happen. So I'm going to explain the pawn structure and pawn breaks today. I'm going to be showing you guys my game and my students' game, which show two of the biggest differential intricacies that I could think of. But you're going to get positions like this. So if you like this, stick around. But let's get into the game. And ideas. I'm showing games, but I'm really showing ideas today, just through games. You know how it would be. So we got knight to c6, knight to f3. Things to note. In the Grand Prix, like in the game we will see next, you go bishop to b5 if you're going to damage their pawn structure. But here you're not going to damage their pawn structure, because if you go bishop to b5, safe to say they're going to go bishop to d7, and then it's refuted. So I would view d6 in early d6 as like an early a6, almost even like an O'Callaghan. You just don't put the bishop on b5. So you might be like, what do I do with the bishop that can't go on b5 then? You're going d3? Oh, so it goes on e2? Yes, it goes on e2. The more I play chess, the more I've come to understand or appreciate passive bishops like such. Because they're anything but passive. They're going to be the spawn of many brilliant moves many times over. Patience is a virtue. And I'm going to show you guys why bishop to e2 is fantastic. So, for example, many people like to go knight to d4. And it is almost never the right decision to take this knight, because these are good doubled pawns, even if they don't have the pawn on e5. These are good doubled pawns. They put a rook on c8. Your c2 pawn is almost backwards. So the point of bishop to e2 is to go bishop to d1. This bishop guards, again, not passively. If knight takes knight, you take with the bishop. It's a great bishop. If they keep the knight here, they can't. You go knight e2, c3, pick the knight. You go bishop to b3. Their f pawn is pinned. It makes f5 10 times stronger once castled. Can you envision that? I believe so. I believe in you. I think you can. So we get castles. Okay. So I've made many videos on the Grand Prix, but I like to refine, reinvigorate, revamp my lines over time. You play it more, you have more of an understanding. So I can make more videos. You can watch those. Kind of as just a little side note, you go pawn to b3 when they have the doubled pawns and you stop c4. That's what I used to recommend. But I used to recommend like one size fits all, but it doesn't. It can, but this is better, trust. Pawn to f5. So you play pawn to f5, you put your Banya hat on. It's very important you put your Banya hat on because it's plus 300 elo. And we all need plus 300 elo. Who wouldn't want that? So, Banya hat, right? It's brick titties outside. It's Banya season. Get your Banya hat. Good for the soul. Fantastic. Back to chess. Pawn to f5. This pawn pretty much has to get taken. If this pawn is not taken and passivity is chosen by black, you get the pin. So the difference in my game is this pawn's going to be back here. Here it's not. Big difference. So bishop to g5, you go for the pin. I would argue many people don't like to get pinned because knight to d5 is going to be handed to them. So you would get something like such. They're like, phew, attack neutralized. Attack has just begun. Knight takes g5 is a beautiful sack. I think there's going to be like literally 10 brilliancies in this video. And that was number one. But this is the point. You're just winning. And the reason you brought your queen to the dark square, right? Remember, they have a fianchetto. You can't infiltrate on the light squares against a fianchetto. You shift over to the dark squares. Rook lift, rook shift, checkmate. We do it all the time. We say it all the time. So that's very beautiful. Now, they take, and you have to take here. That's a big difference when the pawn is not on e7. If you do what's in the following game against the IM, the 2700 that I beat in 17 moves, thank you very much, you would play queen to h4, knight to g5, an assortment of such. But it doesn't work here because of the move pawn f4. You turned a sacrifice into a blunder. We don't like to do that. Sometimes it's inevitable. Here, you can stop it. So don't do this. They gain the pawn. They close the position. Not good stuff. So you must take back. They take back with the bishop. And look, have you ever seen, they're about to recreate a fianchetto with a bishop. A fianchetto with a bishop on g6. Fianchettoing the bishop on g... Haven't seen that all too often. But okay, what now? What now? Will you pin them? They don't like pins, but they don't have a g-pawn, nor if they did, same thing. So they don't like pins, they get out of the pin. Good positional puzzle here. Find white's way forward. I had to put the Banya hat on. I feel like Dojal on Mars. I read 160 pages of a chess book today. My brain is zipping right now. Zipping. So, bishop takes f6. Good. But if you said bishop takes f6 to go knight to d5, that is good. But let me pitch knight to h4 to you. These bishops are in front of each other like so. You have two attackers on f5. They have to remove the knight. And remember that oh so passive bishop. I'm just trying to be a point prover right now. Remember that oh so passive. Find the move here. Find the move. Bishop to g4. Brilliant. This bishop has to be taken and you just go rook to f6. The point is not to win the bishop back. It's to freeze their position and just checkmate them. And it kind of reminds me of like a Vienna. In that you can lose all your material and you're chilling. You're just checkmating them all over. It's pretty gross. Let's get to the other game. So, beating a 2,717 moves. This is going to be the main line, which is bishop to b5. If they don't move this knight, it's been in prior videos. It'll be in future videos if it's what you guys want. You take it, you double up their structure. You essentially can just pre-move d3, castle, queen e1, b3, bishop b2, knight a4, and damage, challenge the doubled pawns. And their doubled pawns, if it can't go to c4, their light squared bishop is blocked in. But here we get the critical knight to d4. You leave that knight be and castle. Have the day you deserve. Now they have two options. If they go a6, you put your bishop back on d3. It's a goofy line. It's a great line. But mostly people are going to take. Take, now what? They have d5, e5. I'm just giving little previews. You guys, little previews of the lines if you guys want more. But a6 is what was done. You leave your knight there until it's kicked out. He kicks it out, so you get booted back. Again, queen e1, right? Systems-based opening. Starting to resemble the other one. What I have figured out is that when they don't challenge your position, right? When they challenge your position, it becomes closed. I love closed positions because there's a tangible rotation point. There's a focal point to build pressure onto. If they're not challenging you at all, then you challenge them. You're like, what's up? F5, blow open the king. I'm going to checkmate you. And again, they kind of just have to take. They kind of just have to take. If they don't take, again, queen h4, bishop h6, knight g5, rook takes f6, queen takes h7, mate. So the whole point is this. I'm sorry if I went too fast. I didn't mean to. Genuinely. Queen to h4. Trade off the dark squared bishops. If the f file opens up, sack the rook. And h7 is a focal point. So they should take. Now, unlike the other line, you're not taking here. You're going all in. Queen h4, you're going for checkmate. You might be like, what if they just take? Fantastic question. You go knight to g5. You might be like, why are you giving up all? You're not. This is what I was trying to show before. So many brilliancies. And if they go h6, I mean, who would you rather play right now? Are you kidding me? This is good stuff. Later on in this week, we're going to get a pawn video, an endgame video, follow the FIDE World Cup, and then an improvement video. Someone commented improvement video. That is a good idea, right? Because someone else commented a 2700 video. That's a little harder to make because you can be a person who reads a vocab list 100 times over, 100 words, and learn 3. You can be someone who reads it once and learns all 100 words. There's no one size fits all for studying. I'm not going to be a guru, be like Banya Hat 2700, enough said. So I'm actually going to genuinely put thought into it. How to study, what to play, play style. I don't know. I'll give it some thought, but it's a good idea. So queen to h4. We went over this, right? Yeah. Yes. So pawn to b5. What now? Induce some weaknesses. If you said bishop h6, you're a better man than I am. But I wanted to induce some weaknesses. I was like, oh my goodness. I'm a genius. I'll just go back. Or take. Look at all the... Oh my goodness. It's really gross. This is really gross. So, knight to g5, pawn to e6. Damage their structure. Except this guy went h6. Where would you put the knight? If you said f3, you're a better man than I am again. I went knight to h3. I was like, okay, you know, I'm chilling. Apparently, if they take, they're better. So a misevaluation by me. Oof, I don't know about that, Stockfish. I don't know. I'm a sentient human being, and I think otherwise. But okay, knight to h3. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He went knight to d5, and he's losing. So the only move was to double up the pawns, double ISO, right? That just reminded me of this Spassky Fischer game where, like, Spassky had to go for these wild pawns that no one would ever do, but Engine said he'd have a slight advantage if he did. That was when Fischer came up with, like, the Queen A3 novelty. Do you guys know what I'm referring to? How do you win this game? Pawn f6. Pawn f6. Collapsing black's position. It is quite literally just checkmate. Whichever way you cut the cake, it is checkmate. Boom, boom. It's good stuff. Remove that knight. Common motif. This 2700 international master came up with the brilliancy knight to e8. I took his queen and he resigned. So very fun stuff. Thank you as always for watching. We got some nice videos incoming. I've liked the recommendations. Some more than others. I think we're back with the FIDE World Cup tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you as always for watching. I will see you guys next time. Peace.